Hi, I'm Dr. Joanna Buscemi, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, and I'm here today to talk to you all about cognitive behavioral therapy. So as you all know, going through the treatment of breast cancer can be really difficult, and a lot of women find that some tools that are provided by cognitive behavioral therapy can be really helpful in adjusting back to life after breast cancer treatment. So cognitive behavioral therapy is an evidence-based therapy that's been around for a long time. And when I say evidence-based, I mean that there's been a lot of research that has been done that has shown that cognitive behavioral therapy is effective in a lot of different groups, but also for women like you who have just completed breast cancer treatment. And for this first video, I just want to introduce you to cognitive behavioral therapy and tell you a little bit about the model, and hopefully we can give you some tools that you can use to improve your life every day. So the easiest way to explain the model of cognitive behavioral therapy is through the cognitive behavioral triangle. And from now on, I'm going to talk about cognitive behavioral therapy using CBT for cognitive behavioral therapy because it'll be faster. It's kind of a long name. So basically the idea behind cognitive behavioral therapy is that we all have thoughts. We'll give some examples in a minute. We all have behaviors or things that we do, actions, and we all have emotions or feelings. We all have thoughts, we all have behaviors, we all have feelings or emotions. And the idea behind CBT is that these thoughts, behaviors, and emotions are all connected to one another. In other words, our thoughts are related to our behaviors or our actions. Our actions are then linked back to our emotions and our feelings. And then our feelings are connected back to our thoughts. This also goes in the other direction. So how we think affects the way that we feel, how we feel affects the way that we act, and how we act goes back and affects our thoughts. So all of these parts of our experience are really connected to one another. And we're going to go through a brief example of that to illustrate how this works. So let's start with the thoughts. We work with a lot of breast cancer survivors like yourself, and one common thought that comes up a lot is, my life's never going to be the same after breast cancer treatment. I'm never going to get my life back to normal. Okay? So the thought would be something like never the same, never normal. It's very common for women who have experienced going through breast cancer and breast cancer treatment to have some negative thoughts that pop into your head and to feel sometimes a little bit stressed, anxious, or depressed. So I'm not, some of you might not relate to this, some of you might, but we have heard a lot of women say, I'm never going to be quite the same. And then let's go over here to feelings. So when you have that thought in your head, sometimes we're aware of our thoughts, sometimes we aren't. When you have that thought in your head, your emotions, you might feel negative emotions. You might feel sad, you might feel depressed, etc. And if you have the thought that you're never going to be the same again, never going to feel normal again, and you feel sad and depressed, what are you going to do? What's that going to look like in terms of what you do every day? Well, for some women, that might be isolating themselves. That might be being generally inactive. And those are some sort of symptoms of depression in terms of behaviors. And then we go back here to thoughts again, and what thought would come into your mind if you aren't doing very much or kind of isolating yourself socially? Then you might have some more depressive thoughts. And so you can see how you can kind of go round and round here. And this model really helps in terms of how can you make some changes. So the good thing about this model is if you change any part of it, it should in turn affect the rest of the model. So for example, if you start with the behaviors, and even if you're feeling down in the dumps, you start being more active, you start engaging with friends and family more frequently, that might make you feel less sad, a little bit happier, and then you might say, you know, I might never be exactly the same, but I'm discovering my new normal after breast cancer treatment, and I still have a lot of things to be thankful for. And so you can see how maybe starting to change your behaviors might affect your feelings and your thoughts. You might start here with your thoughts and say, all right, never the same, never normal. Well, there might be some truth to that, but a more helpful thought might be that, this is a time of transition. This is a difficult time for all women like me, and I'm going to work through this to reach that new normal. And then that might then in turn affect your behaviors and your emotions. So I hope through the next few videos we can go through some other strategies that you can use to really improve how you're feeling every day in terms of your thoughts and emotions. There's also a section in my guide about managing emotions, and that would be a good one to refer to in addition to watching these videos. So thank you very much.